But the FOP and its lawyers have a big challenge trying to overcome some major charges against those officers. Lawyer Andy Alberstein is joining us now to go over what's next in this case. Good morning. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning, Mindy.
So right now we're at the very beginning. Charges have been filed. What happens next?
Well, this is the beginning, and the officers there were warrants issued for them out of the district court. The lawyers worked quickly to get them turned in, processed, bailed, and they all got out last night on bonds. The bonds were different. There's sort of three categories of these officers as I see it. One is the driver, Officer Goodson. He starts sort of in his own category because he's got the most serious charges. Then there's several officers that have felony charges, and the third category is the officers with just misdemeanor charges. The ones that have felony charges will have a preliminary hearing that's currently scheduled on May 27th. And then between now and then, the state's attorney will have the choice about whether they want to take the case to the grand jury.
Okay.
That's a secret jury. They meet in circuit court. It's not a public event. We're not allowed to know about it. And what happens there is the state's attorney presents to the grand jury evidence that they think shows that probable cause exists for the felony charges to go forward in circuit court. I suspect they'll probably also try to indict the misdemeanor charges, which you can do. It doesn't normally happen, but they may do it to keep everything together. And then if that happens, that preliminary hearing gets canceled. The case will get scheduled for an arraignment, which is a first hearing in circuit court. I would roughly guess about 2 months from now.
And the whole case is going to take a lot longer than that. People have, if this does go to trial, the officers, if they do go the way of the indictments, the officers are indicted, this goes to trial. How long are we talking here before this all plays out?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean, the normal process of the court would be about 2 months after the arraignment, or about 4 months from now it would have its first trial date. Now, practicing in that court every day, cases never, I don't want to say never, but very rarely do they get to trial on their first trial date. The court needs resources. The judges have been asking for it for years. They don't have it. So it's regular that cases might take a year or 2 years before cases can get to trial. Now, I suspect because of the notoriety of this case is going to get specially assigned. It's going to get, you know, fast track. I think we're not going to see the normal course of it of years, but that's the normal course would be years. I think that what will probably happen is the state will ask the administrative judge to specially assign this case to a particular judge, and then they'll get it all in there. Now, an interesting question is whether they'll even be all tried together. That could affect the scheduling.
Yeah.
So there's been some conversation about the officers having given statements. Some of the officers have given statements, but those statements are usually in this context statements that they're ordered to give through the police department. See, normally, as we know, the Miranda rights, you can't be required to testify against yourself by the government. But when they're police officers, they can be ordered by their department to give an administrative statement. If the government tries to use that statement, which they may not be able to do, but if they were to use that statement or any statement by these folks, that would force the severance of the cases. So I suspect that would not be, it will be a long road to hoe for all of us if they were trying 6 separate trials.
Real quick, before we're running out of time, but what do you think about change of venue? Is that a possibility?
I can't think of a case that would be more appropriate for a change of venue. It's very, very, very hard normally to get those motions granted, but if there's ever a case, it's got to be this one.
All right. Thank you, Andy, for coming in.